Cannabis Common Sense, the show that tells the truth about marijuana and the politics behind its prohibition.
Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Cannabis Common Sense. Our shows are a production of our nonprofit organization, THCF, or the Hemp and Cannabis Foundation, and our affiliated political committee, CRRH, or the Campaign for the Restoration and Regulation of Hemp. We're having a great show for you tonight. We have the director of the new film Fuel here, Josh Tickell, and Dr. Philip Levesque, in addition to Tim Pate and John Cornett providing musical accompaniment.
Yes, indeed.
Ready to sing some cool songs. We'll be taking your phone calls in a little bit of show and tell here this evening. Unfortunately, our teleprompter is still down, but maybe we'll get one of those again sometime soon. Come back with our hemp news segment. But until then, we'll bring out our infamous dancing cannabis leaves. Tim and John. Thank you. Tim Pate and John Cornett.
Thank you, folks.
All right, I'd like to introduce our guest, Josh Tickell.
How are you?
The director.
Director, yes.
Of the new movie Fuel, and we
Yes.
have Dr. Philip Levesque, a stalwart to our longtime viewers. Good to see. And so, tell us, your film just debuted tonight.
Tonight.
And you sold out your first showing.
First showing
what
here.
every film filmmaker dreams of.
Who knew, right? Here in Portland.
So that's at the Fox Broadway?
Yeah, Fox Tower 10.
Fox Tower 10, and that's in downtown Portland?
It's in downtown Portland.
Okay, and is that the only place it's showing right now?
That's it right now. We decided to put it at a place that's a little more, you know, to kind of get people's attention and say, hey, look, this is a big issue.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Tell us about what your film addresses. You talked about oil and alternative fuels.
Yep.
We had some clips of it last week. I guess we'll run that here in just a minute. But expound a bit, if you would.
Well, one of the things we were discussing just a little while ago was Henry Ford's hemp car.
Right.
Grown.
Right. He made an external body with hemp fiber and oil and some other seed oils. I've got videos on our website and have for 10 years where they swing a sledgehammer at it and it bounces off and it doesn't scratch the body of the car. It's kind of a prelude to fiberglass, but perhaps a better alternative.
Like hemp glass.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So Ford was a total pioneer, and we cover pieces of his life in the film. One of the things that Ford did around that same time that he built Grown is he actually created an ethanol facility in the U.S. And he was turning hemp and other products into ethanol. Now, there was a guy at that time named Rockefeller.
Right, Standard Oil.
Standard Oil.
Good friend of Andrew Mellon.
Exactly.
Secretary of the Treasury for several administrations.
Right. So, and this is all during the time of, you know, Hearst, and this whole sort of global power play was starting to be created. Well, Ford had a completely different idea. Not only did he grow his car, but he wanted to grow fuel. And his ethanol facility got about 25% of the fuel market in the Midwest. And, you know, Rockefeller said, we've got to do something about this guy. So Rockefeller started funding something that became known as the Women's Christian Temperance Union.
I've heard of them.
Yeah.
This was, what, circa 1930 or 25?
Well, right before Prohibition.
So 1915 or something like that.
Exactly. And as you recall, you know, soon after that, the Women's Christian Temperance Union got together and they created this push for people to stop drinking alcohol.
Right.
Which then turned into
ethanol.
Exactly. Which most people don't know, that the amendment to the Constitution that was called Prohibition was actually funded by Rockefeller, not having to do anything with drinking alcohol, but to make sure that Ford would stop producing alcohol.
Well, you know, that kind of ties some strings together there that have flung loosely in the wind in terms of it's eventually leading to marijuana prohibition, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And the whole biodiesel issue is something that we've talked about on this show at length.
Yeah. So Fuel, which is opening, as you said, tonight in Portland, it'll play all week and it'll play into next week.
So if somebody wants to see it, they can just go down to the Fox Tower 10, downtown Portland, and it's playing several times a day.
Exactly. Several times a day.
And the more of us that watch it, the more likely it is that other people in other cities will get to see it.
Right. The less likely that we are to go the way of Henry Ford's ethanol car.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the point. That's why we brought it to Portland, because we felt like this was a community that gets it. You know?
Exactly.
So, you know, Fuel, the film, really delves into these stories. And it connects these stories with the modern day, what's going on with our oil system and our corporatocracy and the corruption in the government.
How did you get started on this path, Josh? How did you get drawn into the story of Fuel? Were you a filmmaker first? Or
No,
activist first?
My heart is in activism and is in waking people up to new ideas or old ideas that have sort of been, you know, swept under the rug.
Right.
So Fuel was an extension of me actually growing up in Louisiana among the oil refineries. And I watched my mom and I watched other members of my family get sick from the pollution from oil refineries.
Right. Well, that's a strong motivator, I would think.
Yeah. And so as a kid, I just thought, isn't there a better way to make our energy?
Right.
Yeah.
And there are a number of them.
Exactly.
We have a film clip. Let's see if we can get them to roll that in there, and we'll come back. I think they're ready. So this is a clip from the new movie Fuel. Enjoy.
We have tracing the decline of the primary energy supply that runs the economy.
From market forces,
We cannot track $2.3 trillion.
to armed forces,
The United States has elected to pick up a gun and go rob a service station.
to forces beyond our control.
The fact that Katrina was intolerable was largely oil industry made.
There's one element that drives our world.
America is addicted to oil.
Our dependence sent one man on a journey to find a solution.
Can I get a medium Sprite and all your used cooking oil, please?
Hey man, how many French fries to the acre does that thing get? I mean, people were interested.
1988. I'm sitting on the foot of my mother's bed. She's sick. This section of land in Louisiana has the highest number of cancer incidents in the United States.
People are sick, people are dying in this state, and it's because of oil processing.
Do I tell people the truth? That I grew up hating oil companies.
Our search for a replacement for fossil fuel doesn't end today.
I stopped fighting from anger, and I started looking for partners.
What we have to aim for is a technological breakthrough.
Here, this could be it. This could be the stuff that saves society.
Wow, tastes like peanut oil.
The question I get asked all the time, is it too late? What can I do? The way we live affects the next person, and it affects our community, it affects our country, and ultimately affects the planet.
We're borrowing this earth. We have to consider what we're leaving to our children.
It is going to take everyone to create the world that we're going to have to create to survive.
Fuel.
Okay, so Josh, you're the one man who was on a mission there.
I am.
That's pretty nifty.
I know.
That's so it took 11 years?
It took 11 years to make the movie.
11-year journey?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's quite some persistence, but persistence eventually will pay.
Right. Well, when you say, hey, to a movie studio, I want to make a film that uncovers the conspiracies behind the oil world, says what's really going on in our economy, deals with the corporatocracy, deals with what's going on in the media industry, and tells the truth about alternative energy. They don't generally write you a check.
They don't back that usually, huh?
It takes a while. So it took us 11 years to make the film, and now it's here in Portland.
All right.
Yeah.
Great. So how long has it been finished? Is it just a recent?
Well, the print...
Getting this thing distributed is always a big
print
job.
actually got here night before last.
So you just recently...
So I saw it for the first time tonight.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So you didn't edit it together.
Yeah.
A real premiere.
It is the real premiere of the film print. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty amazing.
Well, thank you for being
we take viewer
Thank
phone
you for
calls. Let's
having
go
me.
ahead and take a viewer phone call and see what they've got to say. Hello. Oh, well, they've hung up. So much for that. That's the problem with live. We're all volunteers here, too. I'll put in a mea culpa before I need it.
That's all right. I'm volunteering, too, tonight.
I understand.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. You don't get the guest fee, I guess.
Right. Yeah, no guest fee. Yeah.
So
we were just talking about Woody Harrelson.
Yeah. I had the pleasure of meeting him many years back, and you were saying you have known him for about 10 years. I guess I met him about 95 or 96, and I know in 96 I explained to him about biodiesel and hemp, and he didn't know anything about it at that time, and now I know he's made that movie further about taking his bus down the West Coast a few years back.
Yep, and that's, after he spoke to you, his assistant found me and said, okay, we've heard about this incredible stuff called biodiesel. We want to put in our bus, and we want to make it from hemp. And so I helped them.
Hemp oil can up there.
Yeah, we helped. We made, I think it was 800 gallons of biodiesel, and that started the trip. And then they were able to continue to make biodiesel from hemp. And it is the sweetest smelling fuel.
Yeah.
The nice thing about it is it's edible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And very nutritious.
Right. Exactly.
I often tell people, and I've said it several times on the show, that if the Exxon Valdez had been filled with hemp seed oil, and it had broken open and poured all over the shores of Alaska, instead of killing tens of thousands of birds and mammals and sea creatures, they would have had a better food, and it would have made them more healthy, and it would have, there'd be more life instead of less. And so that's the difference between taking toxic petroleum and a natural product of the earth in terms of hemp biodiesel.
It's hard to grow hemp up in Alaska, though.
It'll grow a little bit. It'll grow in all the basic
it'll grow
climates.
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, you can't drill hemp, though.
No.
I don't know if Sarah Palin would like hemp.
I don't think she would.
Yeah.
I don't think
we should send her some.
If she understood real family values, maybe
right.
so.
Yeah, we should send her a little gift.
We're going to try this phone call thing again.
Right. Yeah.
Hello, caller. You're on our show.
Yeah, I had a couple of questions for Dr. Levesque there.
Hi. Go right ahead. That's why he's here.
I have my card, and I have degenerative disc disease and connective tissues with problems with my back. And wanted to know, number one, what's the best way to take cannabis and for that pain? And is there any new technologies that are being developed for backs that are going to help maybe replace discs and connective tissue?
Okay, that's one question? You got another one too, or
we had two?
Got two. I'll do this one now. Okay, there are surgeries available for replacing discs, but the whole thing is, this sounds like you've got a long-term bad situation. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Are you using marijuana now?
Yeah, I've had my card for 5 years, and I've been on morphine for 10. And I'm only 28.
At the same time,
right?
Have you been able to reduce your morphine with the marijuana?
By a lot.
That boy, great. That's great. Well, my advice to you is to stick with what you've got now. Are you a vet by any chance?
No,
you're not a vet.
I tried joining, but my back went bad before I even got 18.
Well, Paul just made a suggestion that if you eat the brownies, that will give you a level. And then you can smoke it or inhale the vapors for breakthrough. That's going to be one of the best things that you can do.
Yeah, what I always tell chronic pain patients is it's better to eat cannabis. It's the CBD in cannabis that gives the greatest relief from pain, not the THC. Where the THC is concentrated in the flowers, CBD is found throughout the plant, so you can make a medicine from the leaf, and the leaf's a lot cheaper, and it won't get you the high or the buzz associated with marijuana. So by taking the leaf and eating that 3 times a day, you'll get relief from pain, spasms, seizures, and even glaucoma through the CBD, and it works longer. When you inhale cannabis, either smoked or through a vaporizer, then it lasts from 1 to 4 hours, where when you eat cannabis, it lasts 6 to 8 hours. And so you want to eat something made from the leaf in the morning, the middle of the day, and before you go to bed at night. And as Dr. Levesque suggested, if you have breakthrough pain over and above that, then you can try inhaled cannabis either through smoking or vaporization to relieve that.
What's your second question?
The second question, is there any new technologies for going in and fixing the back?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Orthopedic surgeon really talks
absolutely.
about those.
They've got some pretty good replacements for the discs that apparently you used yours up.
Yeah, pretty well.
Yeah.
They're always improving. You know, the longer you wait, the more technology they're likely to bring to bear on it. Here's an example of some cannabis capsules where you just take your cannabis. You've got to cook it at a low heat for about 30 minutes at about 200 to 225 degrees, not over 280. And that strips off the carbon dioxide molecule. It's called decarboxylation. That medicinally activates it. So once you've taken your leaf or your flowers, you cook it at a low heat for about 30 to 45 minutes at about 200 to 225 degrees. Then you grind it up and put it in these capsules, or you can make it into brownies or food. It'll go into any oil, alcohol, butter. I like it with blueberry muffins. Kind of complements the flavor.
You said to cook it, but you mean to cook it in the oil, though, don't you?
Well, you can cook it in the oil, and then you don't need to cook it separately.
Yeah.
It only needs to go through that heating process once to strip off the carbon dioxide molecule, and that makes it medicinally.
I heard about the glycerin tincture.
You know, that's a good way to extract it. Glycerin's another solvent, just like alcohol, that will the oils and resins in cannabis will dissolve in. And it doesn't have the burn burning effect you might get from an alcohol-based tincture.
Excellent. Well, hey, you guys keep up the good work. That video that gentleman in the middle made, fantastic.
Josh
I'm going
Tickell.
to have to go see that, and thanks for the help.
Yay.
I'll let other callers get through. Thank you.
Thank you. So your film opened tonight, and you were at the studio. So, are any other people there to record the event, or any other distributors? You're hoping to get in some other areas, I know.
We're definitely hoping to get some other areas. I mean, the thing about Fuel, you can see these buttons that we're wearing. You know, the film is really a manifestation of a movement. So the idea is that basically, you know, the movie is the movement about how do we get green in our cities? How do we get alternative energy in our cities? How do we get, you know, solar power, wind power, fuel from algae, fuel from hemp? Why don't we have these things every day? And the fuel movement is so much bigger than the fuel movie that that's really what we're hoping to compel with the film.
Try to tie into the whole movement and let people know there's a venue out there that kind of explains it, captures it. With some interesting folks. You got Willie Nelson in there, too?
Got Willie Nelson in there. We got Woody Harrelson. We have Richard Branson.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Sheryl Crow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's several coups.
Yeah, and everyone mostly has their clothes on for most of the movie. Yeah.
That's something. So it's rated G?
It's rated. It's unrated.
Unrated.
And I'll tell you why it's unrated.
Yeah.
Because when we sent the movie to the MPAA, they wanted to give it an R rating.
Why?
Because it has a shot of a needle going into an arm.
Oh, my God.
I know.
And that is enough for an R rating with them, huh?
Well, it's pretty scary, you know.
Yeah, that is. It scares me.
Kids have never seen that stuff.
I hope not.
Especially not on the internet.
My kids don't. I guess we have another caller, though. Hello, caller. You're on our show.
Hi, guys. How are you doing?
Very well. Thank you.
Good. I had a question. A friend of mine just recently got arrested. He was a card holder in California, and he was driving up to Oregon, and he got pulled over, and the cop, I guess, smelled marijuana and was like, you know, I smelled marijuana. My friend showed him marijuana, showed him his card. Cop arrested him, took him to jail, and just said he had never seen a card like that before. And I was just curious if there was anything that he could do, if there was any sort of law that protected medical card holders in Oregon and California.
Well, you know, now there are 13 states that have medical marijuana laws, and they're all individually active for their state. There are different rules in different states. There are 2 states that have reciprocity written into their law, the Montana law and the new Michigan law that just passed on Election Day this month, and will go into effect on December 4th. Those 2 laws have reciprocity written into them. We're lobbying to try to get reciprocity into the law. Up in Washington, I got stopped one time and showed my Oregon card, and the officer let me go and keep the little bit of medicine I had with me. It really depends on the officer you run into. Some of them think the drug war is the holy grail, and others of them realize that medical marijuana has great efficacy. And so it really depends on the luck of the draw. It sounds like in this case your friend got a bad draw. I recommend that he continue to fight that and plead not guilty, and hopefully he'll get a compassionate judge to throw it out, or maybe he'll make some new law at the appellate level protecting all patients.
Okay. Well, thanks. I was just curious.
Yeah, if there's anything we can do to help or any information, you can go to our website or give our office a call, and maybe we can direct you to a friendly attorney. Where did this happen in Oregon?
I believe it was southern Oregon, somewhere near, what's the town, like Roseburg? Or
yeah, that's one of them down there.
Yeah.
I just drove through it a few hours ago myself. So
yeah, and it didn't seem like the cop was too nice, but he has a good attorney, and they're pretty optimistic about the case, and hopefully it's a good judge.
Well, keep us appraised.
Okay.
Or apprised. All right, well, thanks for your call.
Yeah.
If you're out there and you have a question for us tonight, it is the 14th of November, 2008. If If you're not watching on Friday night, the 14th of November, 2008, it's a repeat. So don't call 503-288-4448. And we'll be taking your calls for, at least another 30 minutes or so. And so, Dr. Levesque, how's your week been going? Or recent weeks. You haven't been on in a few weeks.
Well, Madeline Martinez last week gave me the list of
sponsors of AOI or the Associated Oregon Industries.
Dan Harmon. Dan Harmon.
Dan Harmon's the
the
vice president.
I don't know exactly where she got this, but he had about 20 different points that he wanted. He threatened the legislature with whatever kind of action that they could do with $1 million. And so I responded in an answer to each one of them. And it's on salem-news.com.
Right.
And it was posted 2 days ago. What I'm going to what I forgot to do is to give him the list of Dan Harmon's list of what he wanted to do to the legislature and so forth. So
tie them up and beat them with chains.
Something like that. But I was interested in Josh's story about the WCTU. And I taught at Ohio State for 6 years, and I was on the Speakers Bureau there. And one time I was invited to a WCTU to tell them about the danger of drugs. And there was a dear old lady in the front row, and I asked the audience if they had any questions and so forth. And every once in a while, her hand would go up just a little bit, and then somebody asked a question, her hand would go down. And finally, everybody else ran out of questions, so she raised her hand, and she says, "Doctor, would you please tell me why we can't buy Hadacol anymore? It was the best medicine that I've ever used." And I didn't have the courage to tell her that it was 40% alcohol.
You think it was alcohol that worked so well, or
yeah, it was sherry and a liquid form of iron.
I see.
And it was produced by, I can't remember his name. He was a senator, I think, a state senator in Louisiana. And somebody asked him one time, "What's Hadacol good for?" And he says, "Well, it was good for $1 million last year."
It sounds like a Louisiana politician.
Yeah, well, sort of Kingfish. What's his name?
P. Long. Yeah. It's funny, that it seems like the pharmaceutical companies that keep medical marijuana off the shelves, they're a lot like the oil companies.
They're a lot.
It's about the same level of profitability. These are the two most profitable companies, really, in the world.
Industries, energy and the pharmaceutical industries are way up there at the top. We have another caller, though. Let's try to take another call. Hello, caller. You're on our show.
Is that me?
That's you.
I'll be darned. I made it. I tune into your show once in a while, and it always reminds me of my 94-year-old uncle. He's a country western line dance instructor, and he bakes brownies and eats them before he dances, and he does it for pain relief.
I see.
And I am absolutely convinced that there's a connection between his longevity and healthy life and those brownies. The reason I'm calling is he's told me in the past that they may help my asthma, and I'm wondering if there's any truth to that.
Let me speak to that.
Let's have Tim Pate over here talk.
Who is
go ahead.
Having been a lifelong asthmatic, I can honestly say that it works incredibly well for my asthma. I'm in cahoots with my doctor. He understands I use it and knows why, and we keep it regulated. I'm very pleased with the response that I get from medical marijuana for my asthma, and I've had it my whole life. I've spent some serious time in the hospital when I was young, maybe close to 3 years in a hospital before I was 20 years old.
Wow.
And they just used to not have very good solutions for asthma. And they took away one of our best solutions. And so I grew up like Josh did.
Models here that some of them say they're for asthma.
Yeah, like Josh did. I grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, at the time the oil capital of the world, and all the petroleum. It got me too. I had to leave the Midwest and move out to the West Coast just to get away from all that. It really seriously affected. Even when I was in grad school, I spent 8 days in ICU because of the nastiness in West Texas. So there's. As far as I'm concerned, living in a good location does make a difference, but also having the right medicine. And my asthma is affected positively by medical marijuana.
And is it something that you would ingest like my uncle's brownies, or is it better inhaled?
Take it orally.
I do it orally myself, yes. But I take it any way I can get it.
Okay. Well, the old boy may be onto something. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
When I was working with the patients, I must have had between 50 and 100 asthma patients. And when they first came in, I was kind of surprised, because I'm sure most of you users know that bad marijuana makes you cough sometime. And in fact, the matter is, Paul used to say on the program here that when he shifted to the vaporizer, that he didn't quit coughing.
Coughing went away very quickly in comparison to smoking. And been a smoker for 30 years.
And cannabis relaxes the smooth muscle in your breathing tubes, and that's how it works.
And again, it's the CBD or cannabidiol that has an anti-spastic effect. In addition to controlling seizures, pain, and glaucoma, asthma is a spastic reaction to usually an allergy or sometimes emotional trauma that is set off, and so cannabis relieves muscle spasms and therefore helps control asthma. And so asthma is covered as a medical condition under severe and chronic muscle spasms.
Okay. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Thanks for your call. If you're out there and you have a question for us tonight, you can call us at 503-288-4448. That's 503-288-4448. So, there's a few other medicinal compounds in cannabis, too, that we don't often talk about. We often talk about THC, which is concentrated in the flowers, and it's useful for nausea, as an appetite stimulant, for PTSD, anxiety, and depression. But then we talk about CBD, or cannabidiol, which is good for pain, spasm, seizures, and glaucoma. There are a couple of other ones that the pharmaceutical industry is researching and trying to isolate and patent. One of them is cannabichromine, or CBC, and they found that it has an antibiotic effect, and it even kills the new bacteria that are resistant to other antibiotics. So they are finding that using CBC, or cannabichromine, will kill the bugs that penicillin and other antibiotics really won't work on anymore.
Fancy
so
that.
It's got, and then there's another one, CBN, and they're just still unraveling it. And there's about 19 different pharmaceutical companies working on extracts or byproducts from cannabis. They just recently pulled a cannabis agonist, something that blocks the cannabis pathways to lower your appetite. It's called Acomplia, and it was approved for distribution in Europe. What they found, though, by blocking the cannabinoid pathways, they had sudden cardiac arrest and heart failure that they couldn't really explain. Mm-hmm. So they don't understand how the cannabinoid receptor system modulates heart function, but somehow it does, and it caused a number of deaths there. Just the same way that Vioxx, in inhibiting the COX receptors, had stopped, been used for some pain conditions. They found it also caused heart attacks and heart failure.
And so killed about 40,000
COX inhibitors are apparently similar. There's some relationship with the cannabinoid receptors. But, a lot of medicines, they don't understand how they work even today, like Tylenol. They don't know why Tylenol works. They just say, take it, your headaches go away. So, okay, it must work. No one's dying. Well, I guess it does kill livers and kidneys on some people, but that's with too much use. We have another caller. Hello, caller. You're on the show.
Yes, I was just calling to find out about a person with multiple sclerosis, if marijuana helps the pain.
Absolutely.
It does, and even more than that, recent studies have shown that cannabis stops the progression of multiple sclerosis and slows the progression of other neurodegenerative diseases. So it's like the miracle medicine that every MS sufferer should be using.
Okay.
And we've got
we've
got no less than 50 MS patients, I believe, something like that.
Oh, a lot more than that. I can't even begin to guess how many, but well over 1,000, I'm sure.
Really?
All across the U.S. We've helped Folks, if you know anyone out there with MS, they should be using cannabis because it's recently been shown to stop the progression of the disease or at least slow it. And we have doctors who are willing to help you. So just contact us, and we'll be happy to refer you to one of those physicians.
In Oregon, the #1 card holder was an MS patient.
Yeah.
I understand that we have the highest incidence of MS in the world here in the Northwest.
Yeah, exactly. Some people think it's because of the Hanford nuclear plant up there, and I guess the city of Spokane has the highest concentration of all. But in the Northwest, we're higher than the rest of the nation.
Well, I think they said it's the states that are the coldest. The colder states are the ones that where there's more people that are diagnosed with MS that are in the colder states.
Okay.
Eskimos don't get it.
I don't know. Anyway, it's just diagnosed a couple of years ago on it.
Well, I recommend you, as I've said several times here tonight, eat cannabis 3 times a day. And if you don't want the buzz, eat something made out of the leaf, whether it be capsules or an oil extract in a salad or a butter extract in a brownie or in other baked goods. By eating the leaf, you can carry on without the high associated with cannabis, but still get the relief from spasms and pain associated with MS, and it'll slow the progression of that disease. And it's also been shown to slow the progression of Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. And it's useful in stroke patients. So if you've got someone having a stroke, give them a couple of tokes. Toke for stroke. And, on the way to the hospital. That's what I can say.
Okay.
I'm serious.
How do you go about to find out on getting like the liquid or the pills or something?
We have recipes that we give out at our office, or you can get them on our website at thc-foundation.org. Or if you want to come by our office, we're at 105 Southeast 18th Avenue in Portland, where I'll have offices actually across the western United States, and we have recipes on making these capsules, on making oils and alcohol and glycerin-based tinctures and foods. So we'd be happy to give those to you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Yeah, for anyone out there that has chronic pain, chronic severe nausea, AIDS, glaucoma, IBS, seizure and spastic disorders, asthma, GERD, hepatitis C, Crohn's disease and other gastrointestinal ailments, cancer, or neurodegenerative diseases, then medical marijuana might help, and we have doctors all across the western United States that can help you. Or you can come in and get some recipes or go to our website. Here in Portland, for a physician referral, you want to call us at 503-235-4606. That's 503-235-4606. If you're up in Seattle, the Seattle number is 206-878-1701. That's 206-878-1701. In Denver, the Denver number is 303-403-9996. That's 303-403-9996. In Southern California, we have an office in Riverside, and the number is 951-782-9898. That's 951-782-9898. In Las Vegas, Nevada, you can call us at 702-202-0249. That's 702-202-0249. We're going to start seeing patients in Montana next week. We're in Hawaii, and it will be in Michigan starting December 4th. So if you need help in any of those other states, you can call us toll-free at 1-800-723-0188. That's 1-800-723-0188. And we have another caller. Hello, caller, you're on the show.
Hi, sir. I have a question. I've been using, partaking in toking for 42 years of self-medicating because of I was diagnosed like 15 years later. I didn't know about with bipolar disorder, and I've also got a couple other problems, and now I'm finding a couple more that I need to go deal with. I'm a Vietnam era vet.
Yeah,
and
the Israeli army actually gives cannabis to PTSD soldiers because it obviously helps them control their nightmares and dreams and all of that. When I smoke cannabis, I don't have dreams at night. I have dreamless sleep. At least I don't remember them.
Well, so that's just it. It completely relaxes me. It takes all the stress and anxiety and the frustration and all that away, and that's why I've smoked it. I've never been in trouble for it or been caught, in that kind of thing. But who do I get a hold of, or who do I see about actually getting a medical card for it? Because, after 42 years of smoking it, I can't see myself without it.
For PTSD and bipolar conditions, those conditions are only covered in the state of California. And we can't recommend cannabis outside of California for those conditions. But given your age, I'm sure you might have arthritis or some other chronic condition that would qualify. Say if you have arthritis, you can get a card for your arthritis and use it for your bipolar condition and your PTSD. And so we have the doctors. I just was giving out all those phone numbers all across the country. Take it you're in Portland?
Yes, I am right now.
So the Portland number
is from Seattle.
Up in Seattle?
That's where I moved from. I've been down here about 2 weeks now.
Okay. Well, if you want to come into Portland, the Portland number is 503-235-4606. That's 503-235-4606. And we have an office up just outside of Seattle in Bellevue as well. But if you're here in Portland, that's the place to call. And our office is just off of 18th and southeast Burnside, or East Burnside in Ankeny.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate that. And as far as the film, I'm anxious to go down and see that. Sir, you're doing good work, because we need alternative fuels. Because
I really do.
It's just been too long, too much. Mm-hmm. And thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Thank you, gentlemen.
I am a true believer that the whole reason that marijuana is illegal is solely about biodiesel fuel. I'm 100% convinced. Well, it's the whole Henry Ford and Mellon and Rockefeller economic battles you're talking about. They found that there was, they created a propaganda myth. They called it reefer madness, right? And said marijuana causes people to go crazy and kill their family and friends, and it was a deadly new drug where everybody was growing hemp and using it for clothes and food and oil. They didn't even know they were criminalizing something they were growing in most cases.
Yeah, it's amazing. If you think about the power of one plant to have, create our fuel, our food, everything that we need, of course you'd want to make that illegal. If you were a big company, you're going to make a lot of money.
More seed oil and protein, more fiber and building materials, and more medicine and more biomass. To take the plant that makes more biomass in the temperate and cooler climates and make that illegal, to me, is really evil, and that's what we've been fighting here in this television show for over 470 editions, over a dozen years, and we're going to keep at it until we return hemp to our fuel pumps. Yeah. That's what we really need.
Yeah. Hemp fuel should be a standard item issued, everywhere. And the irony of it is, we've got kids that we stick in diesel school buses now, and those kids, 1 out of 4 American kids have asthma.
Right.
And the correlation between asthma and diesel is exact.
Those tiny particulates
in
diesel are very toxic. So it causes hundreds of deaths just right here in Portland every year.
Yeah.
I know at PSU they said it causes over 400 deaths annually here in Portland just from the pulmonary problems caused by diesel small particulates.
Right. So we're effectively killing our kids by putting them in diesel school buses fueled by diesel, but they could be fueled by hemp biodiesel, and it's completely organic.
Right. There aren't any byproducts. It's not toxic. And that's what we long to see and what we're working on doing. We have a petition campaign. We're pulled and we're polling on. We're doing some revisions, but we're hoping to tax and regulate the sale of marijuana to adults and legalize and return industrial hemp to our farmers here. And we're trying to educate the farmers about the benefits of that.
Yeah. When we traveled with Woody Harrelson in his bus, the mothership, right. It was fueled completely on hemp biodiesel, and the bus ran fine. No problems whatsoever up and down the West Coast. Went everywhere on hemp biodiesel, and every car in
Were you there
Portland-
with him when he did that further tour?
Yeah, I was just...
Are you in Ron Mann's film?
No,
you were competing filmmakers.
Well, filmmakers have this thing where we kind of go, do you want to be in my movie because I'm making a movie, and if I put you in my movie, then you have to be in your... And it just gets really confusing. It's like talking to somebody in the men's room.
I understand.
It's weird. So
or in an elevator. You know?
Right. Yeah, that's also weird. Or
that's very weird.
If
you got to just look at those numbers.
Right.
You can't look at each other.
Don't look at the other person, especially not if you know that they know that you know that hemp biodiesel could be used in school buses.
Right.
Yeah.
That will do it. You know, hemp, it can. Yes, it can.
You sound like an advocate for this stuff. Is that pretty close?
That's pretty close. I'm a big advocate for sustainability, you know? So, and crops like hemp can be grown on infertile soil. They can just do so much for the country. And yet, through the petrochemical companies and through the pharmaceutical companies, we outlaw the very thing that we need to be sustainable.
And, you know, initially, when they criminalized hemp, the United States was the world's largest petroleum producer. And now we produce such a tiny amount of it, it's like we're shipping all of our wealth, or at least a large part of it, to these despotic rulers in the Middle East that, you know, keep women under veils and do, I don't know. You know, I don't want to be anti-Middle Eastern, but I don't like shipping our money to these kind of throwback, archaic governments.
Yeah. Well, that's
don't let women vote.
Yeah, it's insane. I think these are the topics that we really try and explore in the Fuel Film, and we try and explore them with folks at thefuelfilm.com. People write in a lot of information, and it's exciting to see a grassroots revolution take place because hemp has a place in that, algae has a place in that, solar, wind, bicycles. You know, you just have to be careful not to do too many at the same time. Yeah.
We have another caller. Hello, caller. You're on the show.
Yeah. Hello?
Hi.
Yeah, I was curious. I saw the gentleman that made the movie was your guest tonight. And one question I've always had for years and years is, would it ever be possible to use HID lighting? Does it give off enough to maybe use it with solar cells or photovoltaic cells?
No, it doesn't give off as much energy as it uses. So there'd be a net loss to try to power solar. You want to use the sun. You know, it's just a lot cheaper. It's a lot cheaper alternative. I prefer growing outdoors simply because the big grow bulb in the sky, the light's the right spectrum, it just works better, and it's a lot cheaper than buying that equipment.
Yeah, I understand that. But so there's, you know, I think anything that any comeback you could get from it at all, it takes more. You're saying it takes more, but will it actually, is there enough energy in it to trip the solar cells, are you saying, or it's not enough?
Well, I'm sure you could produce some, but I think it would take more energy to produce solar power from electric-generated light. There's a loss there. So I think we want to use the sunlight because it's so cheap and so available, and you don't have to build fancy contraptions to create it. It's already there.
Yes, absolutely. Well, that makes a lot of sense. They found out that corn is the same way. You know, they were figuring out that it took almost as much energy to make the corn into ethanol as, and then they're losing feed and everything else.
Exactly. And see, with hemp as a resource, the byproduct is food. According to this study that I quote here on this show almost every week, from Notre Dame University, it was published in their publication called The Midlands Naturalist in 1975, an article called Feral Hemp in Southern Illinois. Hemp will produce over 8,000 pounds of seeds per acre. So you take the 8,000 pounds of seed and you press it and you get over 300 gallons of oil and 6,000 pounds of high-protein hemp seed meal. And so if you make fuel from hemp, you have a lot more food, where if you make fuel from corn, you have less food. And so, and then the other byproduct per acre of hemp is 25 tons of hemp hurd fiber and 6 to 10 tons of hemp bast fiber. Hemp bast fiber is the outer bark, and it's good for canvas, rope, lace, and linen, and high-quality thin papers. And where the hurd will make building materials and any other grade of paper.
Oh, so. I see. I understand. Now, what is it? Mostly propaganda, or you see on the mainline media where they're saying, well, these cannabis people are crazy because, and they talk about switchgrass, and they're saying there's things that are better than cannabis, but they're not talking about any byproducts like you're saying.
Well, I think you're the guy to talk about that. You were talking a moment ago about algae. I know that's an alternative for fuel.
Right.
You want to talk about switchgrass and algae?
Yeah, absolutely. And we cover this in the fuel film, in that switchgrass is incredibly water intensive. It takes a tremendous amount of water to grow switchgrass. And so here we are entering a time of a water crisis, and we need to be looking at more crops like hemp that are water neutral, or that are more designed for dry climates. And I wanted to just address the solar panel question you had. The amazing thing about solar technology is how fast it's leaping forward. They've actually found very high power solar cells can be very small. And what they do is they take a large magnifying glass and they focus the sun's energy onto a very small point. Well, if you go back to our story about Henry Ford, and you remember, Ford made a car out of hemp. Everything, even the glass, contained hemp fiber. So if you think about a solar panel, it requires a fiberglass backing, it requires a frame, it requires a very small amount of silicon, and it requires a lens. So you can make almost 80% of the solar panel itself out of industrial hemp. That could be a huge boon. We could be growing the solar panels for the next generation of America.
I look forward to being able to do that, and that's what we're trying to spearhead by returning hemp to commerce.
Yeah, it's amazing. And like Paul brought across, he says, well, we like to grow outdoors, but there are some people that do use the HID lighting, if they don't have,
a secure place outdoors.
Yeah, a place outdoors. So even if you're only getting part of it back, at least it's not just being absorbed into the walls. That's what I was asking. Even if you could break even, or even come get you're already using the energy, is what I'm saying. So
I see what you mean. You mean like put solar cells around your plants to capture the excess light.
With the technology, the way it's working, coming along every day, even underneath. And line the walls with it, and just so now it's just being wasted. It's going nowhere. So I just thought, well,
grow your plant canopy and let those leaves absorb that. Then you'll have at least photosynthesis.
See? Like that gentleman was saying, with the way the technology is evolving all the time. But I always wondered the switchgrass. That was the big one, and now I understand the water is quite a commodity too. So that's exactly.
Well, thanks for your phone call. I appreciate.
Thank you so much. Thanks for answering my question.
Thanks for watching. We are winding down here. We might be able to get another call in, but I'm not sure of that. So your film's premiered. It's at what's the theater again? The Fox Tower?
The Fox Tower 10.
Tower 10.
Yep.
Is that just off of Broadway? Or it's in downtown Portland.
It's in downtown Portland. It's easy to find on Google.
Yeah. And so it'll be playing there. It's called Fuel.
It's called Fuel.
And you've got a website?
We've got a website, thefuelfilm.com. It's a place where people can come. They can get more information. They can get involved. They can argue with each other. People argue with me on the website. It's great.
That's good.
Hemp is better than switchgrass. Is better than algae. Is better than naked cycling.
And I understand someone got off on naked cycling just today.
Just today.
That's a breakthrough.
Yeah, it's a shame he wasn't covered in vegetable oil, because then he would have been slippery and the cops couldn't have grabbed him.
That's something else, and a shame. I just don't know about that.
It could have been hemp vegetable oil.
Yeah, there's that. There's that. And bicycles are good. We know that, here in Portland especially. Anything you want to say in closing, Doctor?
Well, I was going to ask, were you telling people what all these cute little bottles are in front of you?
I don't think I did. Maybe real quick here, we'll get Sylvia on camera, too, to close in. We have this unopened box with this cannabis from Specific Medicine. This is about 1910 to 1915. This is an open box here. We'll get them to focus in. Camera 2 there at the switcher position. There they are. Specific medicine, cannabis. Then right next to it, from Merrill Company, we have powdered hashish. Boy, that's one you'd like to get prescribed. Powdered hashish in a little ounce bottle. I think I could test some of that for them if they wanted. I have some that are full, but if these are old. Then we have Eli Lilly, from Eli Lilly, and we have about 10 different cannabis medicines from Eli Lilly, but this is, what is it, extract number 96 as opposed to number 17. See, 96. Then next door we have one of the more interesting ones we show from time to time. This is cannabis and opium pills for neuralgic pain, and they're, as it says here on the little thing, chocolate coated. So this would have had 500 compressed chocolate coated cannabis and opium pills. Then here we have a cough medicine made from hemp. It's got a label in 13 different languages. This one is, and that's from about 1890, and this one's from about 1890 as well, and it's embossed with cannabis. It's Dr. H. James Cannabis Indica, proprietary medicine dug out of the ground originally from Philadelphia. And this is an 1870 to 1880 era tincture bottle you'd find in your standard pharmacy or apothecary. So there you have it. Show and tell for this evening.
How many bottles like that do you have in your collection?
We're up to about 170 now. Yep. We're hoping to get them all pictured and put on the internet and everything. You know, we're about out of time, though. I want to thank you folks for watching. Thank you, Josh Tickell.
Thank you so much for having me on.
And really go out there and see Fuel and go to the website. And tune in next week and help us restore hemp.
Yay!
Here's Tim Pate, John Cornette.